My name is Madinda Ndlovu, originating from Binga. Was born in Binga, but came into Bulawayo when I was just about 3 months old. My father used to work for the City Council, and we grew up in the location of Makokoba. You know, we're a family of 11, which is six boys, 5 girls. I'm third born in the family. Growing up in Makokoba is, during our time when we were growing up, we had these city council youth clubs where we used to go and play various types of sports. And one of the sports that came to interest me was football. We used to play these plastic bags in the streets as the location boys to keep ourselves away from the streets. Basically, that's who I am.
Mm-hmm. At school, did you play soccer in the school teams?
Yeah, growing up in the location like Makokoba there, I think in my family I was the only one who wanted to go to school back to my roots in Binga. So I went to school grade 1 to grade 3 at St. Patrick's Primary School in Makokoba there. And then I went back to Kariyangwe Mission School, which is in Binga, up to grade 7. Then I went to Marist Brothers for secondary in Dete. That's basically what it is.
Mm-hmm. And when did you start getting serious with soccer? At what stage?
Look, in school we used to play school football. I was a bit confused in what to do because I was also very good in athletics. My late sister that comes immediately after me was a very good 100-meter sprinter, and I also was a very good runner as well. But football interested me more than any other sport, and we used to play, school football, district football. And you know how it is like when you grow and everybody is admiring how you play football. Then it inspired me to probably take football serious with professional clubs. I joined Highlanders while I was still in school, so I could come and play when it's school holidays here in Bulawayo. I joined Highlanders. It's way back, I think 70. If I'm not mistaken, 75, 76, somewhere there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But taking football seriously was sometime in 76, where Ali Bhabha at Highlanders had actually seen the talent and said, look, I need to develop this talent. I think we're now under 16s or so, under 16s, with Nhamo Shambira, the likes of Mcdonald, Silongwe, and that's the juniors that Ali Bhabha brought up at Highlanders. It was after the intake of Nkomo, and the great Ali Bhabha has done quite a lot for the Highlanders juniors because he was taking out players intake by intake. As I said, the Nkomo intakes, our intake, and then the Willard Kumalo intakes, the Adam Ndlovu intakes, the Peter Ndlovu intakes. The list goes on and on and on and on. It is the works of Ali Bhabha, and I started to play for the Highlanders senior team in 1979. Mm-hmm. I was asked to come and join the first team. By then, the first team was of Lawrence Piri, Majuta Mpofu, Timon Mabalegas, and I went to play for the first team in Plumtree, the time of Onyas Msanas. And of course, it was very hard for me to break into the first team at that time, because Highlanders had one of the greatest wingers as well. I played the right wing, number 7, so to speak. But Highlanders at that time had one of the brilliant players in Daud Stole, whom I found very difficult to knock out of that position. But lucky enough, in 1980, Daud Stole left for the United States, and that's the time when I took over and never looked back since then. In fact, it was the time when really pressure was mounting at Highlanders, was the time when the late Vice President Nkomo had his troops, that time Zapu, Gorillas, playing a challenge game against Highlanders, and the first team of Highlanders had gone to Zambia for a pre-season. So as the young boys coming from down there were asked to have a game, and it was a memorable time, because the time when Nkomo himself had to kick-start the game. And from there, it was him actually who said, as the Highlanders committee, that why is that boy not playing in the first team? Then the pressure mounted and so that's how really the pressure mounted at Highlanders. And when Daud left, then I took over at the first spot at Highlanders until I retired. Yeah.
Did you have a role model when you started playing in the professional league?
Well, look, at that time, football was totally different to what is happening today. During our time, you wanted to belong. You wanted to belong to a certain club. If I can bring you back the memories of Highlanders, Dynamos. You couldn't have a player coming from Dynamos going to Highlanders, or Highlanders going to Dynamos. So if you grew up in the youth of Highlanders, you have that sense of belonging to Highlanders. And what was of importance was to say, I want to be the man at the helm. Of course, the role models were those that were playing at that time then. So yeah, I would say the role models by then were one our time on, George Shires and so forth. We're looking forward to being like them, but also they were looking at us, coming in as the new generation to carry the club to the next level. Yeah. At
one time, there were 3 brothers in one team. How was it, and how did that come to be like?
We were blessed at Highlanders. We were really blessed at Highlanders. It's not the Ndlovu brothers who started to play at Highlanders. If you recall, there's the Moloi brothers, Douglas and his brother. There was the Mabalega brothers, Timon and Phineas. Then the Ndlovu brothers. Of course, we became 3. The rest were like two. You remember the Soma brothers as well. So it's always been a kind of a brother kind of a thing at Highlanders. But so amazing, so amazing how we got to play in one team together, the 3 of us. It was not at Highlanders. At Highlanders we never played the 3 of us in one team. Yeah, we started to play the 3 of us in one team at the national team during Fabish time. But when I left for Germany in 85, if I'm not mistaken, 85, Peter was not really a big name. He was still. I left him not even playing for the first team. Adam was playing, but it didn't take long, me being in Germany, that Peter started playing with Bob Benjamin Conjera. And that was the start of writing a history book for the Ndlovus.
How was it playing in the national team? How does it feel?
It's always any player's wish to put on the national jersey. I'm blessed that I had to witness both the first national team after independence, and also the generation that was coming to play with them and so forth. But when we started off in 1908 after independence, I started with the under 20s, with the likes of Boston Lindunduma, Sebastian Chikwature, and all those players, and then we graduated into the first team. It was the first national team, and then, which was being coached by John Rank, was the national team of both Gibson Omelas, both Sunday Marimos, and then we took over as the young warriors. Actually, the word the warriors comes after the young warriors. They already had been popular, and those young warriors was during our time. It was so amazing, so exciting to be part and parcel of the national team, be it at under 20s or at national team. When you are fresh from gaining independence, when you play for the nation in front of that huge crowd, you feel like, Urgondo. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You feel like you are at war, Yes. I won't really talk of the memorable one, but I will talk of the one that I will never forget because of situations. We were playing the Zambian national team. At Rufaro Stadium, and as youngsters coming into the first team, Sunday was the captain by then. Oliver Gatias, they were accepting us as youngsters that no, they are the small boys coming into the national team right now. So Sunday would get our boots before the game at our camp, Zora so nemafuta nguruwe, that stuff, your knees and everything. We don't know. We didn't know. We're still youngsters. We didn't know exactly what that meant. For us, it was going to play football, and there you are. I was given an opportunity to play on the right wing there, get the ball down the line, do my usual thing. Toramun, Rasamun Bas. And then, the guy slide tackles me and I fall right on top of him. You know what he says? He says to me, you smelling like a pig. I said, hey, mind your own business. So that game really, we drew that game. We drew that game with the Zambian national team. But it's one of the games that excited me because it was a new experience. But in getting more acquainted to the national team, I think the memorable games really that will never go away are most of the games that we played under Fabish. He was a very, very, very serious mentor. He was committed to the nation, probably more than some of the players that were playing. I remember a game we played against Cameroon at the National Stadium when I came in as a substitute with Argent Sao, and we beat Cameroon, I think by a solitary goal. That made me feel so special, coming from the bench and turning around the game the way we turned the game. It really will never go away. It was a game that I will always remember. Yes.
How is it in coaching now from active play?
Playing a game is trying to put into place somebody else's philosophy, someone else's mind and drive. Coaching is you imparting that knowledge you have on the different players. So you can imagine how difficult it is to make a number of 30 players understand your philosophy. It's really a mammoth task, but football is just turned so scientific these days. It then becomes much more easier if you follow the required training methods. It then makes it much more easier to say, look, what sort of a player are you looking for. And these days we've got systems. Godara, we had numbers to play, number 7, number 9. There's nothing like that now. You've got midfield player, defensive link, attacking link, winger. So that has made it much more easier now to come in and probably, make sure that you can put together a certain type of players to which are designed for you to get a certain kind of result. Mm-hmm. So football before was difficult. Coaching, I think the coaches were there before, had a mammoth task of trying to, put a team together. Nowadays we are guided by the science part of it into football. Mm-hmm. Training methods have changed. You can't mix certain aspects of the game in one training. You've got to work on each aspect until the players understand what you want. But yeah, it's also still challenging, since it's football, as you know, is always a result-oriented kind of a sport, and with teams that are pressure teams like Highlanders, Dynamos, Caps, you always feel the pressure coming if results don't come. Yeah, so yeah, it's exciting to be, a coach after having played the game, and now you stand in front of the players and tell them something that probably you didn't want to do yourself. But that's the process. Mm-hmm. That's the process. Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, there's this issue of players going into retirement. We've heard that some of your colleagues ended up being destitute. What do you think should be done to plan for the retirement of players, professional players who have been popular during the time?
The biggest challenge is where we play this game. We are playing the game in the third world, and always, you can see, even clubs struggle to get finance to or sponsorship to run their clubs, and that is the biggest challenge that we have. Before I get to the really to answer your question, players cannot really budget in Africa, mostly in special Southern Africa. Players cannot really budget and plan their future, because it is like hand-to-mouth kind of a thing. What players get out of playing football is not adequate. It's not enough for them to plan for their future. So on its own, we will continue to have players struggling and suffering after playing football. It's only South Africa that is paying, handsomely well in Southern Africa, but you can see that up to now, probably clubs like Highlanders, Dynamos are struggling to get a meaningful sponsorship that will really, cover their needs. I think also it's about education as well. As individuals, but unfortunately the sport of football is mainly linked with uneducated people, so to speak. Sorry for that, but I think this is what people perceive the sport to be. And if you cannot, with the little that you've got, you cannot plan your future, I don't think there will be an immediate solution to the question that you asked. It's only those that have got a bit of a knowledge that can survive, because with the little bit that they have, they can now probably look at how to invest with it, and then it then can give them returns after retirement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.